With each passing day, the mega fight between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler is coming up. The fighters have finished filming The Universal Fighter, and soon the whole world will see the event. But I didn't put you guys together because I want to give a prediction on this fight. No, I already have it on my channel. I want to tell you what Chandler will do to destroy McGregor. Hello fighters. This is World of MMA. In this video I will tell you the most important reasons why Iron will defeat Notorious. But before you start this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like it, so that as many fans as possible can see this video. Here we go. Why I decided to make this video in the first place. It's simple. Almost every day on the Irishman's page I noticed different videos of him drinking and partying. At the time Michael Chandler has already started the initial stage of preparation for this fight. But tell me, how can a fighter who does not know what all day long win? Unpreparedness, improper nutrition, plus drinking in the middle of camp, and at the same time people in Conor's team claim he is in the best shape of his life and other nonsense. Why do I say nonsense? Because that was before every Conor fight. Before the Khabib fight, there was so much information that Conor was just a monster in terms of form. But after Nurmagomedov took him apart, immediately there was talk of minor injuries in the run-up to that fight. Before that, though, everything was perfect. Also before the two fights against Dustin Poirier, McGregor's people stated that he is training like never before. He is in such shape that he is ready to tear even Makhachev. But the result was two one-sided defeats and again excuses, and right now the hackneyed script is being repeated. The trainers of Notorious claim that Conor is working harder than ever. Training several times a day, he's ready and willing to destroy Chandler. But so far, we see the opposite. Conor is drinking alcohol, hanging out at different pubs, and posting fake photos that he took 2 years ago at most. I mean those pictures where McGregor recently showed off his form, and the most important thing is that McGregor doesn't have a beard. But in these photos he has grown back his beard. In general, everything is clear with Conor. I think that even without this video you know that Chandler is going to destroy the Irishman. With that kind of attitude towards fighting, it could end sadly for him. I think you realize that McGregor's chances of winning this fight are next to nothing. Of course, the odds are there. Let me tell you what qualities Chandler has that will stop McGregor. And Chandler's first advantage in this fight. I think that point is obvious to everybody. It's his punching power. So many people he's knocked out with his punches. I've never seen so many highlights anywhere else. His right punches are the most dangerous weapon you could think of. And considering what the Irishman has been doing to his head lately, Chandler has a good chance to knock out the Irishman. And do it in flamboyant style. Look how he found the shot against Patrick Efreri. A precise right cross, and not an easy one. You could see that Chandler was aiming this cannon, and when he knew it was safe to launch, he did it and made no mistake. The Brazilian collapsed unconscious on the octagon floor. Let's take a look back at the fights he's had recently. So you don't think he was like that in the past, and there aren't even examples of that now. Of course there are. For example, Chandler's debut, where he knocked out the New Zealander Dan Hooker with a left jab, and again, not just a punch, he was just trying to hit him. He was really nailing him. He started to defend him, and in the end, as soon as Michael raised his arm, he took a really strong jab to Hooker's jaw and he was off his feet. You might also think of the legendary Tony Ferguson, who no one had been able to knock out before his fight with Chandler. Tony was a kind of tank that was easy to shake. Certainly not to knock him out. But Chandler unexpectedly punches the front of kick, after which Tony went down and was brought back to his senses for a few more minutes. This is the kind of knockouts Chandler was able to pocket, and now imagine a fighter who was not even trained against such a fierce knockout. As they say, we'll see in the fight. The next point Chandler will use to destroy McGregor is, of course, his super wrestling. He doesn't use it very often, but when he does use it, it works perfectly. And so that I don't make it sound like nothing, I will give examples, and the first example will be his recent fights. The fight against Tony Ferguson. In the first round, When Iron had some problems in the stand-up, he decided to do a takedown and controlled it for a few minutes. His last fight against Dustin Poirier, I can also give you an example. In the second round, the American decided to take a little rest. He took Dustin without any effort and didn't let him get up, controlling him for the whole round, and thus he scored some points. Also in the distant past, more specifically in the Bellator promotion, Chandler has used his wrestling, and so far it has not failed. No one has been able to stop Iron Man's takedowns, and it's unlikely Conor can do that. As you know, he has always had big problems with wrestlers: Chad Mendes, Khabib Nurmagomedov, even Dustin Poirier, who has no wrestling, has been transferring the Irishman. And here you have a fighter with a good wrestling background coming up against you. Naturally, Michael will have the advantage in terms of weight. You've seen how much weight he has, and if Conor was missing takedowns from some of the more experienced fighters, what would happen if Chandler took all his weight? What happens if Chandler crushes Notorious with his entire body weight? I think there would be consequences, and not happy ones for McGregor. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is Conor McGregor's binge-watching lifestyle. Attentive viewers may remember that I touched on this topic at the beginning, but again I decided to duplicate it. I think one of the most important reasons why Conor will lose to Chandler. Let's forget about the punching power and the wrestling and stuff like that. I just can't get my head around how a professional athlete would use that kind of stuff in a training camp. It's unhealthy to lead such a lifestyle, even when not fighting, let alone before the fight. As we can see, Conor is not trying to learn from his own mistakes. How many times he drank before the fight with Khabib, and right now a similar story is repeating itself. The partying, the drinking, and many other things that will come out in the fight.